Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Zane and this is Monument. Before we continue with this video, allow me to declare that this video is simply for educational purposes. We've got big news in the space for Lotus. Lotus is exploring the options of an IPO in the next 2 years. Essentially, Lotus is actually considering a market listing within the next 2 years. This is to help fund a major international expansion and investment into electric vehicles. The historic brand splits its operation last year into 2 business units. The Norfolk-based company making sport cars and a luxury lifestyle company based in China that plans to make electric sport utility vehicles. The Lotus Group, which is majority owned by Chinese Geely Manufacturing Company, has now begun exploring a listing of lifestyle businesses with the aim of raising capital to help meet the growth target of 100-fold rise in sales over the next 6 years. This was a statement that was said by one of the company's most senior executives. Lotus plans to sell 100,000 vehicles worldwide by 2028, a huge rise on the 1,500 sports car turned out by the company's plant at Healthell last year. Matt Windle, managing director and Lotus Sport Car Division, told the Financial Times. Now additionally, Geely has already tapped into public market with the floated of Volvo vehicles last year, while Volvo's spun electric car brand Polestar has announced plans to list in the first half of 2022. So this is quite exciting because Geely, they make electric cars, Volvo makes electric cars, and Polestar makes electric cars. And what they all have in common, majority owned by Geely, including Lotus. Lotus is also owned by Geely. Geely is the parent company. So at the center of the new Lotus lifestyle unit is a series of SUVs that aims to achieve the middle handling of the company's sports car but broadens its appeal to drivers in China. So the first Lotus SUV, developed by engineers in the UK and Germany, will go into production later this year. That's in 2022 or early in 2023 at a custom-built plant in Wuhan, China. Now a sports saloon will follow, with a smaller SUV expected around 2025. The manufacturing plant, which was financed by Geely, has a capacity of over 150,000 vehicles per year. That's really incredible. And I think it's a brilliant step for Lotus, including to secure their future, not just in the space of making sports car, but in the space of making electric vehicles. So as of right now, they're in the early discussion periods, and that's in regards to its initial public offering. That's the IPO. Now of course that would be Matt Windle, managing director of Lotus Sports Car Division. So let's continue. Here's where it gets really interesting. Geely bought a 51% stake in Lotus in 2017. Now as part of its deal to take control of Lotus' former owner Proton, the Chinese group has poured more than $3 billion into the businesses, allowing it to end production of its long-serving lineup of traditional analog sports car and to develop new vehicles. Now the company has an electric supercar, the Avesia, as well as its last combustion engine-driven sports car, the Amira. It also developed a platform for 3 electric vehicles that are built in China, as well as a dedicated system to make electric sports car, which is expected to underpin a new electric supercar from 2025 to 2026. Now quite interestingly, Renault's Alpine sports car, they will also produce cars using the Lotus sports car system. Now these are expected to be made in the UK as well. Lotus expect by 2028, 10% of the sales will be sports car, with the China-made vehicles accounting for 90%. The Lotus Senior Team last week held a 2-day event in London to test the investors' appetite following similar events in Guangzhou, Shanghai and Beijing last year. The new Lotus SUV was shown at the event, with more details about the model expected to be released later this month. Now with everything being said, Lotus, the idea that Lotus is pushing its plan to float its Lotus Technology division onto the stock market, this is a big strategic move in the EV space, and I do believe that this will have a huge impact. Lotus has a very prestigious history in the racing car community. They have a prestigious and underrated history in the sports car community. but I always think that Lotus cars are extremely underrated. I think it's time that Lotus evolve with their company, their leadership, their marketing, and with the vehicles that they're manufacturing. And I do believe that Geely is a good leadership for Lotus because they're doing wonderful things with the Volvo brand, with the Polestar new EV, fully EV brand. And it seems that they're doing a brilliant job with Lotus as well. So this move that could possibly value Lotus as a company anywhere from 5 to 6 billion pounds, this is absolutely incredible for Lotus, and it's a great way to start to launch your company into the stock market. Not overvalue, but if anything, you want to be undervalued because that gives your stocks a great growth trajectory for the coming future, for the next 5 years, half a decade, even the full decade. That this IPO, the initial public offering, over the SPAC, the special acquisition company method of listing that was recently employed by Polestar themselves, who is owned by Geely. Despite the extra scrutiny involving the more traditional route to market, Lotus aims to float in 12 to 24 months, but the decision over whether to do so in Asia, London, or New York hasn't yet been taken, the company has recently said. So Lotus could possibly go public in at least 3 different locations, but it can only be one. It cannot be all 3, as we well know. It could either be the London Stock Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, or the Stock Exchange in China. All 3 are great options, by the way. Now, the reaction in China to potentially float has been strong. That was said by a spokesperson, and I'm honestly not surprised. Now, additionally, Lotus is also 49% owned by Epektase Automotive, a company controlled by Malaysian billionaire Syed Abukari, who formerly owned Lotus through another company, DRB Haikum. Epektase, meanwhile, has a smaller stake in Lotus Technology at 30%. So one of the more exciting news is that Lotus will most likely launch the Type 132 next year with a Porsche Taycan size electric saloon, codename Type 133 in 2023, and then a groundbreaking smaller SUV in 2025. These are all electric vehicles. The Type 135 electric sports car will arrive in 2026 and eventually replace the imminent ICE-powered Lotus Emora. Now, the electric SUV and saloon will be built in a new £900 million factory in Wuhan, China, the Geely-owned plant that has a capacity of up to 150,000 vehicles per year, as I've said previously in this video. But I wanted to remind everyone just for an important iteration. Now, Lotus' transformation from struggling maker and of a niche sports car brand to potential global rival of Porsche began in 2017 when Geely brought a majority stake and a vow to overthrow it. Lotus isn't the only company that Geely desperately tries to get to compete with Porsche, but they're also pushing Polestar heavily to compete with Porsche. And if you'd like to get some more information on that, check out the other videos on my channel, and I'm sure you'll find them helpful. So that is it for this video. That is it for the Lotus news. Leave a comment to let me know if this news excites you, that we could be getting Lotus going into the EV space, not just with new EV cars, but with a SPAC merger, with an IPO. This is great. Thank you for watching until the end. Subscribe to see more, and I will see you in my next video.